just being a part of a community and interacting with community. And I just think like community it has a lot of positives with you because it forms your identity, it forms who you identify with.
Intersectionality. Intersectionality is a simple word that has a complex definition.
Because I made her emotional and she started crying. Listen. Intersectionality.
All people belong to more than one community. Even if it's just your school community and your family community, that counts.
What?
Intersectionality is an old word. It goes back generations. Yet just recently has this definition come out of it. What we believe to be the definition of this complicated word is more than one community intersecting within people. In this film, we strive to help you understand what this word means.
Some difficulties that come up with, I guess, identifying with certain communities is that you can feel that they're, being misrepresented.
Sometimes people don't always feel like welcomed or like included in part of their communities.
I guess there's many challenges to being someone who identifies as a woman, being a queer person, being a black queer person, and all of those multitudes, layers of repression constantly on me in the classroom, outside the classroom, if I'm shooting. And I'm clearly super queer, super black, right? Super woman, and there's always this sometimes disconnect when I'm shooting with folks who are not necessarily of color or folks who aren't necessarily queer and trans people of color. So sometimes when I'm around like a lot of big industry folks, I'm like, oh, what if, am I standing out right now? Or like, am I being too much of myself right now?
Some challenges that I face are working with young people within a system that is very westernized, meaning that the system is very much working within the confines of like white thinking and European thinking as opposed to traditional modes of healing. I don't look at people as complete individuals. Like I look at people as individuals, but I realize that they're a part of a family, of a community, of a culture.
I wasn't always connected to my ancestral community, nor was I always connected to my indigenous spiritual community. When I was your all-age age, when I was in high school, I was like really deep into drugs and alcohol. It led me to a rehab process. And then in rehab, when I was 17, is when I started connecting with my spirituality. And I realized that drugs and alcohol were really trying to fulfill something that was empty within me. A profound suffering that I went through for most of my life, searching for something that I didn't know what it was. And then when I found it as community, like it was community that I was looking for. It was belonging to somewhere and some place and some people.
Some people might not even like identify with certain communities that they actually are a part of, right? And just the main fact that they don't feel safe, that they can identify with certain communities. So I feel like that might be a problem.
I identify with the Hispanic or like Latino community, and so when you think of like a Latino person, you don't think of like a businessman or a businesswoman. You think of probably somebody who's like gardening your plants or like cleaning your house or something. And so we're kind of treated not as slaves, but like, like kind of like second class. Like we're not good enough to be as much as somebody like a white person could be.
Of course, where I go and why and how I go and how I show up, all of that is community.
Being a San Franciscan, being a Nicaragüense person, a Spanish-speaking Nicaragüense person, being part of like the hip-hop community of like my day, so old school hip-hop, all of that comes into my identity.
My parents like trying to encourage me, and my friends like, I asked them like for advice, like which way, and like they help me in a lot of situations. And then
I mean, community is about love. It's about collective love for each other and for ourselves. And when we come together, love has to be unconditional, right? Love isn't just like I love you based on you do this cool thing that I'm going to support. It's I love you just the way you are. That's what builds community, and that allows us to show up when stuff is going down, and show up when we need to celebrate together. and all of it. You know, life is complex.